In a world where we're constantly influenced by the opinions of others, it's easy to lose sight of our own desires, values, and ambitions. We find ourselves living according to others' expectations, always striving to meet the standards set by society, friends, or even family. But what if you could break free from this cycle? What if you could live for yourself, in alignment with your true self, and stop being a slave to the judgment of others? In this video, we'll explore how to reclaim your autonomy and live a life driven by your own purpose, not by the weight of external expectations. External validation is the process of seeking approval or recognition from others to feel validated and secure in our self-worth. It's the constant desire to measure up to societal standards, to be liked, admired, or accepted by others. From an early age, we are conditioned to seek validation, whether it's from our parents, peers, teachers, or media. We're taught to value praise and acknowledgement, and this often becomes a driving force in how we navigate the world. The problem arises when we begin to depend on external validation for our self-esteem. When we live for the approval of others, we become slaves to their expectations. Our decisions, actions, and even our thoughts are shaped by what we believe will make us acceptable in their eyes. We start to ignore our own desires and instincts because we fear rejection or criticism. The fear of judgment becomes so consuming that we start to mold ourselves into someone we're not, just to fit into a box that others deem appropriate. The danger of constantly seeking validation is that it leaves us feeling empty. No matter how much recognition we receive, it never seems to be enough. We are always chasing after the next compliment or external affirmation, and yet we never truly feel fulfilled. This cycle can lead to anxiety, insecurity, and a persistent sense of disconnection from our true selves. When we live for others, we become disconnected from our own inner compass. We rely on external cues to tell us who we are and what we should do, rather than listening to the voice inside us that knows our true desires. Living in a state of constant validation, seeking also prevents us from fully embracing who we are. We become afraid of standing out or being different because we're so consumed with fitting in. The more we try to please others, the further we drift from our authentic selves. This disconnection can cause a deep sense of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. We are not living life on our terms, but instead, on terms set by external forces, and in the process, we lose sight of our own individuality and personal growth. Breaking free from the expectations of others requires a conscious effort to reclaim your sense of self. It's a process of undoing the conditioning that has shaped your identity and learning to trust your own judgment above all else. Setting boundaries is the first step. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others, but also about saying yes to yourself. It's about deciding what is right for you, regardless of what others may think. Setting boundaries can be difficult, especially if you're used to people-pleasing or avoiding conflict. But when you start prioritizing your own needs, you empower yourself to live life on your own terms. Saying no doesn't have to be a rejection of the other person. Rather, it's a declaration of self-respect. Learning to say no without feeling guilty is one of the most liberating acts you can do for yourself. It allows you to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. People who are used to being people-pleasers often feel immense guilt when they set boundaries. But it's essential to remember that you are not obligated to fulfill everyone else's desires at the expense of your own. Boundaries are a form of self-care, and when you set them, you give yourself the space to grow and flourish in ways that align with your true self. Letting go of the fear of disappointing others is another key component in breaking free from external expectations. For many people, the thought of disappointing a loved one or a friend can feel unbearable. We fear rejection, conflict, or judgment. But what's important to understand is that you cannot control how others react, nor should you. Disappointing others is not the end of the world. It's a natural part of relationships. People who care about you will understand that you have your own life to live, and they will respect your need for autonomy. It's okay to disappoint others sometimes because it's not about them. It's about you. Learning that it's okay to say no and prioritize your own needs helps you break free from the chains of people-pleasing behavior. Moreover, when you stop living for others, you also free up space for your own personal growth. You create the room to explore what truly makes you happy and fulfilled, without being bogged down by the constant pressure of others' expectations. You become the author of your own life story, and in doing so, you reclaim your power and sense of purpose. As you continue on this journey of self-liberation, you'll find that your relationships will change too. You'll attract people who value you for who you truly are, not for the version of yourself you were pretending to be. Living authentically means accepting yourself for who you are, without needing to conform to the standards set by others. It involves acknowledging your strengths, weaknesses, quirks, and imperfections, and embracing them fully. The first step in embracing your true self is to take a step back and reflect on what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What makes you feel alive and passionate? When you connect with your true self, you begin to align your actions with your deeper purpose. Self-reflection is essential for understanding your authentic desires and needs. In a world full of distractions and external noise, it's easy to lose touch with what's important to you. Taking time to reflect allows you to uncover the truth about yourself without the influence of others. Journaling, meditation, or simply spending quiet time alone can help you reconnect with your inner world and identify what you truly want out of life. Living authentically also requires you to let go of the need for external approval. The more you align with your true self, the less you will care about what others think. It's not about being arrogant or dismissive of others' opinions, but rather about recognizing that your worth is not defined by anyone else's approval. When you stop seeking external validation, you begin to operate from a place of inner strength. Your actions, decisions, and choices come from a place of confidence and self-trust. The beauty of living authentically is that it attracts the right people into your life. When you are true to yourself, you naturally gravitate toward people who share your values and appreciate you for who you are. These authentic connections are much more meaningful than those built on pretense or the need for validation. As you stop trying to impress others and start living for yourself, you will find that your relationships become deeper, more genuine, and more fulfilling. Living for yourself also means pursuing what brings you joy and fulfillment without worrying about whether others approve or understand. This is not to say that you should disregard others entirely, but rather that you should prioritize your own happiness and well-being. When you live in alignment with your true self, you create a life that is rich with meaning, purpose, and satisfaction. The key to embracing your true self is to stop measuring your worth by the standards of others and to begin seeing yourself as valuable simply because you exist. Your uniqueness is your strength, and living authentically is the path to true freedom. Embracing your true self is one of the most challenging yet liberating journeys you will ever embark on. It requires unlearning years of conditioning, letting go of the expectations imposed upon you, and rediscovering who you truly are beneath all the roles you've played to please others. The problem is that many people go through life never truly knowing themselves because they are too busy trying to fit into a mold created by society, their families, or their peers. They suppress their true desires, opinions, and even personalities out of fear that they will not be accepted if they show their authentic selves. At some point, you have to ask yourself, who am I really? What do I actually believe? What do I truly want? These questions may seem simple, but they can be incredibly difficult to answer if you've spent years living according to someone else's expectations. Many people define themselves based on external factors, what their parents told them, what society praises, or what they see on social media. But true self-discovery comes from within. It requires deep self-reflection, a willingness to be brutally honest with yourself, and the courage to step away from anything that does not align with your values. Understanding your core values is essential to embracing your true self. Your values act as your internal compass, guiding your decisions and shaping the way you live your life. However, if you have spent most of your life seeking external validation, you may not even be aware of what your true values are. You may have adopted beliefs and desires that are not truly yours, but rather reflections of what others have imposed upon you. To break free from this, you must take a step back and examine what genuinely matters to you. Ask yourself, what principles do I want to live by? What kind of person do I want to be? What do I truly find meaningful? Self-reflection is a powerful tool in this process. In a world full of distractions, it is easy to lose touch with yourself, but setting aside time to reflect allows you to reconnect with your inner world. Journaling can be an excellent way to explore your thoughts and emotions without external influence. When you write freely about your feelings, dreams, and fears, you begin to see patterns that reveal your true self. Meditation can also help you silence the noise of the outside world and tune into your inner voice. Spending time alone in nature, away from the constant input of social media and other people's opinions, can further clarify what is truly important to you. Another critical aspect of embracing your true self is learning to be comfortable with your uniqueness. Society tends to reward conformity. It pushes people to fit into predefined categories, to follow trends, and to adopt certain behaviors that are deemed acceptable. However, the most fulfilling life is one where you fully embrace what makes you different. Your quirks, your passions, and your unique perspectives are what make you special. Trying to fit in at the expense of your authenticity only leads to unhappiness and a sense of emptiness. One of the biggest challenges in embracing your true self is the fear of rejection. Many people are afraid that if they show their real selves, they will be judged, criticized, or even abandoned. This fear often stems from childhood experiences where love and approval were conditional, where you had to behave a certain way to receive affection or validation. As a result, many people develop a habit of suppressing their true feelings and desires in order to be accepted. But the truth is, if someone rejects you for being authentic, they were never meant to be in your life in the first place. The people who truly matter will love and respect you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. Letting go of the need to be liked by everyone is a crucial step in this process. It is impossible to please everyone, and the more you try, the more you will lose yourself in the process. Instead of seeking approval from others, focus on cultivating self-acceptance. When you accept yourself fully, including your flaws, mistakes, and imperfections, you become immune to the opinions of others. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself or gain external validation because you already know your own worth. A major shift happens when you realize that your self-worth is not determined by external achievements or how others perceive you. Many people tie their identity to their success, their social status, or how much admiration they receive. But true self-worth comes from within. It is about knowing that you are valuable simply because you exist. When you start measuring yourself based on your own standards rather than external ones, you gain an unshakable sense of confidence and security. Being authentic also means honoring your emotions and listening to your intuition. Many people suppress their emotions because they fear being vulnerable or appearing weak. However, your emotions are a powerful guide. They tell you what you truly want, what brings you joy, and what drains your energy. Ignoring your emotions only leads to inner turmoil and dissatisfaction. When you start paying attention to your feelings and acting in alignment with them, you make choices that are more in tune with your true self. Surrounding yourself with the right people is another essential part of embracing your authenticity. When you stop pretending to be someone you're not, some relationships may fall away. People who were only in your life because of the version of yourself that you were performing may distance themselves. This can be painful, but it is necessary. The more you step into your authenticity, the more you will attract people who resonate with the real you. These relationships will be deeper, more fulfilling, and based on genuine connection rather than pretense. Living authentically also means following your passions without fear of judgment. Too often, people suppress their interests or dreams because they worry about what others will think. They choose careers they don't love, pursue hobbies that are socially acceptable rather than personally fulfilling, and avoid expressing their true thoughts and ideas. But when you stop caring about external opinions, you give yourself the freedom to explore what truly excites you. You begin to live with passion and purpose, rather than simply going through the motions to please others. The path to embracing your true self is not always easy. It requires courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to let go of anything that does not align with who you really are. But the reward is immeasurable. When you live authentically, you experience a deep sense of inner peace and fulfillment. You no longer feel the constant pressure to perform or impress others. You wake up each day knowing that you are living a life that is true to who you are. Ultimately, embracing your true self is an act of self-liberation. It is about reclaiming your power, honoring your individuality, and living in a way that is aligned with your deepest values and desires. When you choose authenticity over conformity, you create a life that is truly yours. You stop being a slave to external expectations and instead become the master of your own destiny. And that is where true freedom begins. Reprogramming your mindset is one of the most transformative and liberating steps on the journey to living authentically. If you have spent most of your life seeking approval from others or fearing judgment, your mindset may be rooted in insecurity, self-doubt, and the constant need to perform. Changing this mindset requires intentional effort, as well as a deep commitment to shifting the way you think about yourself and the world around you. It's about transforming fear into confidence, quieting the inner critic, and embracing self-trust as the foundation for all of your actions and decisions. One of the first steps in reprogramming your mindset is to shift from a mindset of fear to one of confidence. For many people, fear is the dominant force in their lives. They fear rejection, failure, judgment, and the unknown. This fear holds them back from pursuing their true desires and fully stepping into their authentic selves. Fear thrives on uncertainty, and when you're constantly worried about what could go wrong, you become paralyzed. You stop taking risks, stop making decisions based on your true desires, and instead start living from a place of avoidance. The antidote to fear is confidence. Confidence isn't something that you're born with. It's something that you cultivate over time through practice and repetition. It's about believing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, trusting in your judgment, and knowing that you have the inner strength to navigate life's challenges. Confidence is rooted in self-trust, which means you stop second-guessing yourself and begin to take ownership of your choices. You stop letting fear control your actions and start leading with the belief that you are capable and worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. A powerful tool in building confidence is reframing negative thoughts. Often the fear and self-doubt we experience come from a distorted perception of ourselves or our circumstances. We may think that we're not good enough, that we'll fail, or that we're not worthy of success. These thoughts are often rooted in past experiences, societal conditioning, or false beliefs that we've internalized over time. To reprogram your mindset, it's essential to challenge these negative thoughts and replace them with more empowering beliefs. Whenever you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, pause and ask yourself, is this thought really true? Is there evidence to support it? What would happen if I chose to think differently? By questioning these limiting beliefs and reframing them in a more positive light, you begin to change your mental patterns. For example, instead of thinking, I'm not good enough to achieve this, you can reframe that thought as, I have the skills and resources to succeed, and I'm capable of learning and growing along the way. This simple shift in perspective can be incredibly powerful in boosting your confidence and reducing the influence of fear. Another key aspect of reprogramming your mindset is quieting the inner critic. The inner critic is that voice inside your head that tells you you're not enough, that you'll fail, or that you don't deserve to succeed. This voice is often relentless, criticizing every decision and every action, making it difficult to move forward. The inner critic is usually a product of early experiences, where you were made to feel that you weren't good enough, or that you needed to be perfect in order to be loved and accepted. Over time, this voice becomes internalized, and it starts to control your thoughts and behaviors. To quiet the inner critic, you must first become aware of its presence. Notice when that negative voice arises and observe how it makes you feel. Recognizing the inner critic is the first step in separating yourself from it. It's important to understand that the inner critic is not you. It's simply a product of past conditioning and negative beliefs. Once you recognize it for what it is, you can start to challenge it. Instead of listening to the inner critic, counter it with affirmations, positive self-talk, or even just a simple acknowledgement that you are doing your best. Over time, you can weaken the voice of the critic and replace it with a more compassionate and empowering inner dialogue. Trusting yourself is another fundamental aspect of reprogramming your mindset. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence and authenticity. When you trust yourself, you trust that your decisions, actions, and instincts are valid. You stop seeking external validation or reassurance because you know that you have the inner wisdom to guide you. Self-trust allows you to act with conviction, even in the face of uncertainty. It's the belief that you can handle whatever challenges come your way, and that, even if you make mistakes, you'll learn and grow from them. To cultivate self-trust, you must begin by making small commitments to yourself and following through on them. This could be as simple as setting a goal for the day and completing it, or making a decision and sticking with it even when it feels uncomfortable. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your trust in your own abilities. Over time, these small acts of self-trust build up, and you begin to feel more confident in your ability to navigate life on your terms. A powerful technique for building trust in yourself is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to be present in the moment, free from judgment or worry about the past or future. When you're mindful, you tune into your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without letting them overwhelm or control you. This helps you to better understand yourself and your needs, allowing you to make decisions that are aligned with your true desires. Mindfulness also helps you to detach from the opinions and judgments of others, so you can trust yourself more fully. Reprogramming your mindset also involves breaking free from the need for constant reassurance from others. Many people seek reassurance from others because they don't trust their own judgment or feel uncertain about their decisions. They constantly ask for opinions, validation, or approval before taking any action. This habit can be debilitating, as it keeps you stuck in a cycle of indecision and doubt. To break free from this, you must learn to trust your instincts and make decisions based on your own values and priorities, rather than seeking approval from others. This doesn't mean you should disregard the input of others altogether, but it does mean that you should prioritize your own judgment and intuition. When you stop relying on others to validate your decisions, you empower yourself to make choices that truly reflect who you are and what you want. You stop waiting for permission or approval and start living in alignment with your own truth. Another important aspect of reprogramming your mindset is learning to embrace discomfort. Many people avoid discomfort at all costs because it feels unsafe or unpleasant. However, growth happens when we step outside of our comfort zones. Embracing discomfort means being willing to take risks, face challenges, and push through fear. It means accepting that not every decision will be easy and that you will make mistakes along the way. But instead of letting discomfort hold you back, you embrace it as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. By consistently reprogramming your mindset, you begin to shift your mental patterns from fear, doubt, and insecurity to confidence, trust, and empowerment. Over time, you'll notice that you feel more at ease in your own skin, more aligned with your true self, and more confident in your ability to navigate the world. The journey of reprogramming your mindset is ongoing, but with each step, you become more in control of your own life and less reliant on external validation. Ultimately, you begin to live authentically and confidently, no longer driven by the fear of judgment or the need to impress others. Living for yourself and not for others is a practice that requires constant awareness, effort, and the courage to make decisions based on your own needs, desires, and values, rather than the opinions or expectations of others. It's not just a mindset shift, it's a complete lifestyle change. It's about reclaiming the power that you've unknowingly handed over to others, stepping into your full potential, and allowing yourself to be your true self without the fear of judgment or rejection. One of the most important shifts that occurs when you start living for yourself is recognizing that your happiness, success, and sense of fulfillment are not dependent on anyone else's approval. This realization is incredibly freeing, yet it can be daunting at first. For many people, their worth has been conditioned to be tied to the validation of others. From a young age, we are taught to please others, to behave in certain ways, to achieve specific goals, and to live up to particular expectations. Over time, we internalize these external validations as measures of our worth, leading us to become dependent on other people's opinions. But when you start to truly live for yourself, you detach your sense of self from external factors. Living for yourself means you make decisions based on what you truly want and need, not what others expect or want from you. It's about tuning into your inner voice and allowing it to guide you instead of constantly seeking external cues for what to do next. When you live for yourself, you start making choices that align with your core values and passions. For example, if you've been stuck in a career that doesn't fulfill you simply because it meets others' expectations, you may feel an inner yearning for change. Living for yourself gives you the courage to take the steps necessary to pursue what lights you up, even if it means stepping outside of your comfort zone. The key to living authentically is learning to honor your desires and dreams, regardless of how unconventional or different they may seem to others. Society often sets rigid standards for success, dictating what you should achieve, how you should behave, and what you should desire. This can create a sense of pressure to conform, leaving little room for personal growth or true expression. Living for yourself means rejecting the idea that your worth is determined by societal measures of success. It's about defining success on your own terms, whether that means pursuing a creative passion, living a more minimalist lifestyle, or making an unconventional career change. The freedom that comes from rejecting the pressure to conform is invaluable. A critical component of living for yourself is learning to set boundaries and protect your energy. When you're constantly seeking approval from others, you tend to prioritize their needs, desires, and opinions over your own. This often leads to burnout, resentment, and a sense of emptiness. Setting boundaries is an essential tool for maintaining your sense of self while navigating the demands of others. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. Rather, they are about ensuring that you are taking care of your emotional, physical, and mental well-being. Boundaries can look different for everyone. It could mean saying no to invitations or requests that drain your energy, or it could mean standing up for yourself in situations where you feel disrespected or undervalued. Setting boundaries also means learning to say no without guilt. For so many people, saying no feels like an act of selfishness, but the truth is that saying no is an act of self-respect. When you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you are making space for things that do. This can be anything from taking time for yourself to prioritizing relationships that genuinely uplift you. Boundaries are about respecting your own needs and ensuring that you don't lose yourself in the process of meeting the demands of others. Another powerful aspect of living for yourself is embracing the concept of self-love. When you live for others, you often neglect your own well-being and happiness in favor of pleasing others. Living for yourself, however, requires you to show up for yourself in ways that nurture and support your growth. Self-love is the foundation of living authentically, as it allows you to accept yourself fully and appreciate your uniqueness. When you love yourself, you don't seek validation from external sources because you already know that you are worthy of love, success, and happiness just as you are. Self-love can take many forms. It could mean setting aside time for self-care, whether that's through exercise, meditation, or simply taking a break from the chaos of daily life. It could mean practicing self-compassion when you make mistakes, or being patient with yourself when things don't go as planned. Self-love is about giving yourself permission to prioritize your own needs and happiness without feeling guilty. When you practice self-love, you create a solid foundation of inner peace that allows you to navigate the world with more confidence and clarity. Living for yourself also means embracing imperfection and letting go of the need to be perfect in the eyes of others. The fear of imperfection often prevents people from living authentically. We live in a world that glorifies perfectionism, making it seem like only the flawless deserve success, happiness, and love. This societal pressure creates immense stress and fear, causing people to hide their true selves and avoid taking risks. But living for yourself means accepting that you don't need to be perfect to be valuable or worthy. You are worthy simply because you exist, flaws and all. The beauty of life lies in its messiness, its unpredictability, and its imperfections. When you stop trying to be perfect, you open yourself up to new experiences, growth, and freedom. You allow yourself to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. The key is to embrace the journey, knowing that you don't have to get everything right in order to live a meaningful life. In fact, it's often through our mistakes that we learn the most about ourselves and the world around us. Accepting imperfection also means letting go of the fear of judgment. When you live for yourself, you are less concerned with how others perceive you because you are more focused on staying true to your own path. Living for yourself also requires the courage to let go of toxic relationships. Many people stay in relationships that are draining, unfulfilling, or even abusive because they fear being alone, or because they feel obligated to please others. However, when you live for yourself, you recognize that your time and energy are precious, and you deserve to surround yourself with people who genuinely support, uplift, and inspire you. Letting go of toxic relationships is not about being callous or uncaring, but about recognizing that your well-being is more important than trying to keep someone in your life who does not contribute positively to your growth. The process of letting go can be painful, but it is essential for your growth. Sometimes this means distancing yourself from family members, friends, or romantic partners who have been in your life for years. It can feel lonely at first, but remember that this is a necessary step in making room for people who truly align with your values and aspirations. As you begin to live for yourself, you will naturally attract people who resonate with your true self, and your relationships will become more authentic and fulfilling. Living for yourself also means embracing personal responsibility. It's about recognizing that you are the creator of your own reality, and your choices shape your life. When you live for others, you often feel like a victim of circumstances, blaming others for your unhappiness or feeling trapped in your situation. However, when you take responsibility for your own life, you acknowledge that you have the power to make changes, set new goals, and pursue the life you want to create. Living for yourself means taking ownership of your decisions, your actions, and your outcomes, and realizing that you have the power to shape your own destiny. Ultimately, living for yourself is about reclaiming your power, living in alignment with your true desires, and making choices that support your well-being and happiness. It's about freeing yourself from the shackles of societal expectations, toxic relationships, and the fear of judgment. When you live for yourself, you unlock your fullest potential and step into a life that is truly yours. The path may not always be easy, but the rewards of living authentically, with purpose, and in alignment with your true self are immeasurable. The more you choose to live for yourself, the more you will experience a sense of fulfillment, freedom, and inner peace.